What's going on, everybody? It's David Palmer, the Leo King, and this is my end of the year address for 2015 and the video that goes into the beginning of 2016. Now, this is a much more broader horoscope. This is also replacing this week's Uncut Astrology for New Year's Eve. And this is where I talk about what happened in 2015 and where 2016 is going. Before we go into all this, I want to say thank you so much for all the support. On a personal level, this was the hardest year of my life. But if we actually kind of coincide this, the second hardest year of my life was 2002 into 2003, which was the same Jupiter transit, Jupiter leaving Leo and entering Virgo. Was very difficult for me. And if you want to look at it in Chinese, it was the year of the sheep that always rips my ass a new one. So I am so excited to get the hell out of 2015. I'm just going to be very honest with you. I do much better in the year that follows that same Jupiter transit and that same Chinese New Year. But I just want to say thank you for staying with me through my craziness. If you just go on my YouTube or go on my app and look at the videos, you can see how different I've changed in my look, in my vibe. I literally almost lost it completely this year. And I think a lot of us, in many ways, did. I want to address a question that a lot of people have been asking. When is this energy going to end? Or when is the energy going to shift to where it feels a lot more lighter, easier, and better? Well, the first thing that I want to say is, what if I were to tell you that the energy is never going to change? The reason why I say that is, welcome to a galactic shift. If you look at the understanding of a galactic shift point, in 2012, we moved into another half of the galactic shift point, which means the next 12,000 years are in this energy field. We are all getting accustomed to the new energy field. So I just want to make a reminder that it's not going to be 2016. It's not going to be 2017. It's not going to be 2018. It's not going to be 2019. It's not going to be 2020. It's not going to be some year where it finally is like, oh my God, it feels different. Like, welcome to the underlying energy that will not go away in any of our lives. Now, that doesn't mean it has to be bad. It doesn't mean that it's negative. What it means is we are all adjusting to this energy. And 3 years coming in, 4 years, means that we're getting better at it. So we're actually starting to feel it better. The other aspect is, remember, Pluto and Uranus were squaring from 2012 until 2015. And here we are exiting 2015 with Pluto and Uranus finally ending. So 2016, this is going to be nice because I think that we're going to finally really start to break away from kind of the neurotic energy. But 2016 has some extreme alignments to talk about, and there's going to be a lot of things that I'm going to discuss in this video. First things first, though, let's finish with 2015 talking about it. I feel that everybody in 2015 had to deal with the deepest uncovering of how to get to your desires. We finished Saturn in Scorpio. We finished the whole Scorpio energy pretty much. Now, yes, 2016 Mars will retrograde in Scorpio. We're going to talk about how that's the final touches that are going to happen in Scorpio. But if we really understand what Scorpio is, you ask and you receive. But what happens when you ask for something? Scorpio unveils the issues, the blocks, and the things that are in the way of you receiving. So in many ways, we've all gone through every aspect of why we can't receive what we have asked for in our life. It's not that simple, manifestation. I want this, and then the universe just brings it to you. It's not as simple to be like, I want a Sprite, bring me a Sprite now, and bring it to me and fan me off, please. If it was a Leo kingdom, it would just be too perfect, wouldn't it? But I think that we have all learned to see parts of ourselves and unveil parts of ourselves in 2015 that were in the way of us getting what we really want in our lives. And that can be difficult to deal with because we are removing blocks. 2015 is a year of facing the blocks. It was a year of getting deep, intense into your blocks and overcoming them. And not easy, especially as the confusion started to set in with with big aspects like Saturn and Jupiter that's squared, and Leo and Scorpio, deep passions, like really getting to the bottom of what you want and what you don't want in your life with a battle. You know, in order to expand your heart, you have to be honest. Saturn and Scorpio, you have to get to the truth of your blocks, and that was not easy. This is also the nodal shifting point that went from Libra and Aries into Virgo and Pisces, which is the beginning and the end of the zodiac. So in many ways, we are at a very huge turning point, 2015, because we're not only shifting the energy and the nodal axis to a whole separate half of the zodiac, but we did move in our eclipse periods from an Aries-Libra standpoint, which are much more cardinal, much more dealing with relationships, balance, and identity, and moving into now more of a reality shift. So I think that we all kind of were dealing with much more of an internal reality in 2015, the external not being so focused on. It is 2016 that it is much more of an external aspect. Now, we made it through, and 2016 has a lot of things to go over, and I have not much time to go over it all, but let's just do it. Number one, the Mercury retrogrades are going to happen in Earth signs this year. So a lot of physical changes to people's life this year, a lot of rethinking, and we're going to hit all the Earth signs. Mercury literally is going to go into Capricorn here. It's going to go into Taurus, Virgo, and even at the end of the year, it's going to do Capricorn again. So we're going to have 4 Mercury retrogrades this year. That's a very big deal. The other big deal that's going to happen this year is Mars is going to retrograde. Now, Mars is not happy when he retrogrades. He is the only planet that can go at least 2 years before he retrogrades. Every other planet only gets up to 18 months, right? Venus gets 18 months, you know, but Mars gets 2 years. So when Mars finally comes to a retrograde spot, it's not simple, because our masculinity, our direction, our drive has to take a long break. And it's a 3-month cycle that we go into retrograde. And this Mars retrograde is happening in Sagittarius and then going backwards into Scorpio. So this is going to cut over a place that Saturn highlighted of all of 2015. The baggage that's left, the things that need to be cleared. Mars is a warrior. But also when Mars goes retrograde, this is where in many ways we retreat. And in a lot of our lives, I think we are going to be retreating and realizing that there is some final chords to cut dealing with our deep inner changes, the deep inner blocks that we have been facing in 2015. So we're going to have to wait for this Mars retrograde to happen, which isn't going to happen until April 17th. And I believe that the beginning of 2016 is going to be pretty chill. It's the spring of 2016 that is going to blow your mind. Not only does Mars go retrograde, but so does Saturn. So we're going to have Saturn and Mars and Sagittarius following each other going retrograde. Mars and Saturn deal with focus. So this is going to be a big deal, because this is going to be an extreme focus in our life about where we're going, where's the destination, and then Mars comes back into Scorpio to get really deep in its home sign and cut everything that's in the way. So in many ways, 2016 is the cutting of last chords, the cutting of balloons, so you could finally fly into Sagittarius and go finally on this adventure, or go on this destination that you want to go on. Another major aspect that we're going to have to deal with this year is Saturn square Neptune. This is the confusion that we're dealing with. We're also going to be dealing with Saturn square Jupiter. So poor Saturn in Sagittarius is not going to have a lot of fun this year, because Saturn rules the reality, he rules the rules and control, but more importantly, he is the ruler of time. 2016 is going to feel like time moves from different dimensions and lost in space, and it's going to be a weird year. This is also disclosure, because this is going to be exposing things about the reality. Neptune and Pisces. I want you to know disclosure is much more than an alien disclosure. It is a disclosure of the reality we live in that we thought our perception was about. So the perception of this reality is going to change. The perception of how you look at the world is going to change. And so this is going to bring a lot of conflict in your life about your beliefs about the world, your beliefs about your religion, but more importantly, is this all really true? And I think that it's important that this year, as things are not going to be stable, Saturn is not in a stable sign, and it is not going to be aspected stably. So, unstable year all over the place, and you want to add to boot, this is the year of the monkey in Chinese. Thank God. Sorry, I'm a rat, so I love being in year of the monkey. But year of the monkey is not stable. Monkeys swing from tree to tree, and things move around. And when you mix this Saturn transit in the middle of a T-square with Jupiter in the North Node, in the middle of the eclipses that are happening in Virgo and Pisces, we are about to come into a whirlwind of reality shifts and reality changes and things moving like lily pads, jumping in from one place to another. So if you're expecting this year of 2016 to be, sitting right here by the fire and I'm just going to relax and chill, it's not going to go like that. It's going to be much more all over the place. And with the North Node and Jupiter conjuncting in Virgo, this is going to be a year where you have to focus on a new reality and making new adjustments to your life. In many ways, I keep calling this the year of ascension healing, because we've been so Pisces. We've had Chiron in Pisces. We've had Neptune in Pisces. We've got the South Node in Pisces. This is not an easy time dealing with vulnerability. This is not an easy time dealing with feeling lost. It is about creating a new day-to-day schedule, getting up out of bed and actually doing it. You know, when you're in Pisces, it's much easier to just pop a pill, take a drink, sit in bed all day and relax and not deal with it, or play a video game or watch a movie. This is a time where you have to, and I said in a radio show just recently, I hate to be honest, be sober. And however that means to you. Sobriety means being of clear head. Sobriety means of dealing with life in a pure state. And this is a time for purity, because when the reality shifts, if you're in an unpure state, you don't want to get taken to the wrong place. This is also going to be Jupiter square Saturn again, which means that this is a year of expansion with contraction, which means in order for us to expand in our life, our reality, we need to really take some concrete looks at our beliefs. Are you sure your reality can really change if your belief says it can? Are you really sure that your reality can change if, more importantly, your perception of the world is a certain way and it doesn't, or it does conflict with that? So that's not going to be easy. This T-square of Jupiter, Neptune, and Saturn is saying in mutable signs that your reality has to change completely, and it's not going to be just a one-stop shop. There's going to be multiple doors that we go through. It's kind of like in the Matrix when you meet the key maker and there's a lot of doors and where do they all go? This is a time where, and also in the end of the movie Interstellar, that there's this fifth dimensional kind of energy, but a reminder that this isn't about the world shifting to 5D. I hate to be honest with you, you chose to be in a 3D Earth, not to change into a 5D world. I think that we've all gotten views of 5D and 4D and other frequencies, but your goal is to accomplish and finish and live and die in a three-dimensional Earth. And I think that that is the reminder of 2016, that for the spiritual community and anybody following spirituality, that reality is real. And to get back to that. The other main aspect that I want to bring up is 8 and 9 degrees of Sagittarius. This is where Mars is going to retrograde, and this is where Saturn is going to station and go direct. So if you have any planets at 9 degrees of mutable signs, watch out. The solar eclipse in the summer is going to be at 9 degrees of Virgo. Mars is retrograding at 9 degrees and 8 degrees of Sag. Saturn is going direct and stationary at 9 degrees of Sag. Neptune is going to be opposing the solar eclipse at 9 degrees of Pisces. So whatever is 9 and 10 degrees, and let's just say all the way up to 14 degrees of mutable signs, watch out, because those planets are going to be hit by solar eclipses, the whole Saturn, Neptune, Jupiter energy, and you need to watch those places intensely. The other aspect I want to talk about is Jupiter is going to oppose Chiron a couple times this year, which shows me that this will be a year of massive healing, but it's about not overdoing the medicine, or it's not about overdoing the kind of like lost and not dealing with reality. Sometimes healing has to deal with, getting up out of bed and taking those steps instead of waiting for 5 years until you get up and say, I'm ready to take a step. There's a part of us having to really engage this year and step forward and move into things and not get so caught up and lost. The other thing I want to bring up is belief structures this year, and what people are going to be saying to the world about life and so forth might not have a lot of weight behind them. So before you jump on board of some belief, you better have all the facts. You better know what's going on. Relationships this year are going to have the Sun and Venus conjunct in Gemini as it squares over, opposes, and does all this crazy energy of Jupiter in Virgo, Neptune in Pisces, and Saturn in Sag. So relationships this year are going to be built off more of looking at the facts of your life and more about having the same communication, having the same mindset. This is also going to be interesting since the Sun and Venus did a conjunction in 2012 when they were eclipsing. So this is going to bring back a lot of energy from 2012, especially May and June of 2012, on how relationships affected you in your life. And it's almost coming to it full circle with Venus being direct fully this time, where it's going to close the seed to relationships and bring forth the greatness of whatever you've been working on in those relationships since May and June of 2012. You heard it here. I bet nobody else is going to say that in the astrology world. I looked very deep into that one. The other thing is there's going to be 2 full moons in Sagittarius this year. 2 full moons in Sagittarius this year. So get ready, because this spring or fall, depending where you are in the world, but this spring in the Northern Hemisphere is going to be wild, crazy, Mars retrograde, Saturn retrograde, and all these crazy energies hitting. So prepare for a wild spring. The summer, there's definitely things happening, but you're going to notice much more of a chill down in the summer. And as we get Jupiter entering into Libra by end of summer, beginning of fall, and we get this kind of break from the kind of craziness, there is still going to be the solar eclipse happening in Virgo, but I think that this is going to be a year where you really start to see you confronting a new reality, you leaving behind the sensitivities that you've been dealing with from the past, and you getting ready to move forward into this really great energy. I want to say that be clear this year. Do not get stuck in false idolization, false beliefs, but more importantly, not being clear. This is a year to be clear. And this is a year for you to make sure that you don't lose your mind, that you make sure that you stay level-headed, and that you don't drink the Kool-Aid in yourself and what others do, and that you stay solid and secure with that feeling and that energy. It's going to be interesting because the end of the year gets intense. Jupiter's going to square Pluto, which is going to be a big bang that I think we've been waiting for. But remember that this is a Mars retrograde year. So from April 17th to June, I think it's 27th, or June 29th, do not start anything, do not make a business, do not use this energy to collect information and get ready and re-muster your energy, because this is not going to be a time to move forward into things. If you're trying to build something after the retrograde, I would say that February into March is the best time to get your stuff going, but April all the way to the end of July is not. I would wait for the new moon, July 4th, which is going to be a good new moon, I think, for us all. At the end of the day, there will be a little bit more of a relief of 2016 than 2015, but if you think that it's just going to be easy going, it's not. It's a different easy going. you're not going to be dealing with internal crap anymore, but you're now going to be dealing with external physical reality changes, and more importantly, dealing with unknown circumstances that feel like you're lost. And I think that the reminder is that we are all rats in a little cage, and that we are all not knowing what's outside of this cage. And this year, we all need to start to search for that new world perspective of the world we live in, what's really going on, and more importantly, with Saturn and Sagittarius, it's time for you to dig into your history and understand the history of the world, understand the history of about how things happen, because that's going to be the secret of unlocking the new reality and the false reality, because there's going to be a battle and a separation between people living on a completely delusional society and a place of pure consciousness that you're going to see all over the place. Thank you so much for all the support. I truly appreciate it. This will be a great year. If you always want to get me, you can get me on my app at Apple and Android, or get me at leoking.looksec.com to get my daily video horoscopes. I appreciate you so much, and I want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart for supporting me and being there for me and being through this whole entire process of being the Leo King and helping me get through the craziness that I went through. I truly appreciate it. I know you'll have a great 2016, and love can be the center of your life if you combine it with light. And the reason why we say love and light is because light brings information and love empowers that information. You can be smart, but if you don't have love, you're nothing. You can have love, but if you're an idiot, that doesn't mean anything. Love and light need to come together. And this is a year where we are working on how to get these two together, and so you can carry light and spread it with love to other people around the world. Thank you so much, and I will see you in 2016.